All right, welcome everyone. It's Dawn Duval, and it's Tuesday night for our weekly card class. Pre-recording, obviously, before we meet, as I am out of town. This evening, we're going to make two fun folds. One is a little bit more challenging, but really, once you put it together, it's not that bad. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. If you're on Facebook, please make sure, if you haven't already liked my page, please do so. And if you would share it, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps me to reach out and meet other paper crafters that would like to make cards. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe and click the bell, and that will notify you of any upcoming videos that I do upload. So, all right, with that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and turn the camera down. I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping to give a couple of minutes for those that are coming on late. One thing, if you haven't joined my newsletter list, I would highly encourage you to do so. There will be a link down below the video. If you do, then you have access to this free 40 from Dawn. And what that means is if you place a $50 order with me or more, and fill up they have to be in increments of $50, and fill up these 8 lines, then you will receive $40 in free product of your choice. The only thing that I ask is that you pay for the shipping and sales tax, which will be minimum. And so that is just another way that you can order through me, and I can pay you back by giving you some free products to thank you for your business. So, for instance, if you place a $55 order, then that would go on line 1. If you placed an order of let's say 135, then you would only fill in 2 because you had $100, and the 35 you haven't gotten to the next 50. So you would have 2 lines that you would fill in for that, and so on. If you have any questions, just let me know. This is on my newsletter that I send out each week. You can download this form. Once you've filled it out, you can just photocopy it, take a picture with your phone, and you can message it to me, email me, whatever's easiest for you. Okay? And once I verify your orders, then I will give you the go-ahead and tell me what you want to order, and I'll place that order for you and have it collect your money for the shipping and tax, and then I'll have it shipped directly to you. Another benefit of being on my newsletter list is you have monthly coupons that you will get a discount of some form or fashion, depending on what it is, on certain products. So since we are in the month of September, between now and the end of the month, if you purchase any Memories and More card kit or card pack, then I will send you a free black Stampin' Write marker. So that is my offer to you. And then in addition to that, so for your $50 minimum purchase, I will send you the September tutorial bundle. And this is a collaboration of myself. And this month is the largest number of projects we've had. And this one is 55 projects. I think the most that we have done since I've been doing this is like 48. So this is 55 projects. Some have the new catalog items, some are made with the annual catalog items. But the nice thing about this is that you can download this and save it to your computer or to Dropbox or to whatever. You'll have it for inspiration if you get kind of stumped, or you can copy these cards exactly the way they are, or you can use that as inspiration and change up the colors or the cardstock or whatever and use it for whatever makes you happy. So 55 projects, that is a lot of projects for placing a $50 order, right? Okay, so once I receive notification that you've placed the order, then I usually email this to you within a day or two, okay? All right, so with that being said, let's get started. We're going to work on 2 different fun folds. I am going to start with and they're both easy. Well, one's a little bit more complicated. So we're going to start with the little bit more easier one. And we are going to work with, let me show you the card as soon as I get all my stuff out of the way. All right, hang on one second. We're going to work with the Whale Watching, and this is a new stamp set that is in the catalog. And this is all, I just like this. It's got, and of course there's some the whales, and we've got another whale as you can see. And the water, and then we have this water, and then we have a building, okay? So we're gonna be working with this, and I'm gonna set this off to the side, and we're gonna be working with Cabana, Coastal Cabana and Daffodil Delight. And now this is the card that we're gonna be creating. This is a locking mechanism, or gatefold latch, gatefold latch. And what I've done is I've taken for my base a piece of Coastal Cabana, and this is scored, this is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And let me pull in my papers and my supplies. Give me just here. Now I am using, you can use anything that you have to make your to make this gatefold. I tried using the ovals. They didn't fit what I wanted to do. So this is the retired set of the layering circle dies. I've had these forever and a day, and I have not gotten rid of these yet. So I keep these because you never know when you might need a big circle. So what I did was I took the scalloped one, the largest scalloped one, and I used that, and then I cut the next to the smallest circle to give me my border. And so if you do the same thing, you can do ovals, you can do squares. So you want to take the largest size and then skip the next size and come down to the size below that. So it'd be like the first one and the third one. So this is what I received when I cut that out, and this is what I'll use for my locking mechanism. And then I cut a white out of this circle. So when we get ready to do this, we know that's going to fit right through there. And so we should be good to go. All right, not this one. The white's going to be one little bit smaller. All right, I'm sorry. We did use that one. And that's what we also got cut out when we did that. It removed the inside. So I'm just going to attach these two to give it a little bit more stability after we color this. All right, so, but you can do this with squares, your rectangles, whatever works for you, okay? Now, what we're gonna do, and I've already done this, is you're gonna score at 2 3/4 from each end of your cardstock. Now, I went ahead, and you can do whatever you want. I went ahead and embossed the one side, which is gonna be my bottom, and I embossed this with the Stripes and Splatters embossing folder, and I used the splatter one because I kind of wanted to make it look like it was water. All right, so with that being said, that's going to be the bottom of my card, and then this will be the top, okay? This is really an easy card when you think about it. So let me put this over here, and I've got my circles. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull in my Coastal Cabana ink, and I'm going to take the lines, which looks like water. So I'm going to take that, and I'm just going to ink up the white piece, and I'm going to just go off. Let me get my, all right, so I'm just going to stamp this off the page, and then I'm going to come back on just to give us our water to look a little, so we're not exact. And I'm going to come in over top and color some of this in again, and then I'll do right about there. All right, and that one actually, I think that's too much. Yeah, let me flip it over. I'm gonna flip that over. That's too much water. I got a little carried away. I just get excited, so I'm gonna start right about here, I think, because I want to put some yellow to make it look like the sun is shining. So I'll do it like that. So we'll just come in with this, and I'm just gonna stamp my water, and then I'll come back and fill in wherever I think I might need. I think that looks good about like that. And again, this is a very easy card to create because we're not doing anything other than the latch part is the most difficult. And then I'm going to come in with my Memento black ink, and I'm going to use this little whale that looks like he is jumping out of the water. So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to put him like right above, let me see, I'm going to put him right above this water piece so it looks like he's jumping out. All right, like he's coming out of the water, getting ready to go back down. And then, and I still put a lot of water there, but I want to add a little bit of, because it looks kind of plain. So I'm going to bring in my daffodil, And I'm going to just lightly put a little bit of yellow around the top like it's the sun that's shining. So I'm going to use a blender pen. Always kind of go off your onto a separate piece of paper before you start blending. Otherwise, you're going to get a dark splotch, and you may not want that dark splotch in your design. And I'm just going to come back and just lightly blend so that we can show that the sun is shining, and I might want to have a little bit darker on the side. All right, so we're just going to put some sunshine in there, and he's having fun jumping out of the water. We'll add that. There we go. I think that's good. All right, so that's all I'm going to do to that. So we'll close up this and move this off to the side. And then we'll take our circle that I cut out from the latching part, and we're going to adhere this to this piece right here. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down and get this so it attaches to the blue piece. All right, hang on. We just used this glue, so give me 1 second while I try to get it to come. Here it comes. It's going to come blobbing out too in just a minute. There we go. See what happens? You get it. It gets a glob and then it doesn't want to stop. All right, so we're going to put some adhesive. Whoops, put some adhesive on here, which that's probably a lot, but that's all right. We'll deal with that. Okay. So we're going to add that to this piece right here. Okay, and we're going to let me get this up, and we're going to just let that sit. I'm going to push this down. I know it's got some a lot of glue in it. Let's push this down and make sure it gets adhered to that. And I'll flip it over. Okay, I think that's good. All right, now the next thing that we want to do is we need to determine how we're going to attach, where we need to attach this piece here. Okay, so we want to make sure that how we attach it is how our circle is going to go inside, right? So, this one looks bigger, doesn't it? Oh, I know why, because I made this one thicker. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to put this guy on here first, and I'm going to hold my, let's say I put, we want to have I want to have this about halfway up to help lock that in place. So if I do it like that, then I know I need to have my circle attached right there. So I'm going to make a little tiny mark right, hang on a second. I'm going to have this underneath. I'm just going to make a little mark with my, right there, so I know that I can't go out any further than that. So I'm going to add my adhesive to this first, and then we will attach the circle, because we want to make sure we get this on there, and then we can figure out how to place the other piece, right? So the circle wants to go inside the circle. So we're going to place this one down first. So we're going to put some adhesive on the back. All right, and then I'm going to take this. Oh, you know what? I just did it again. I don't need adhesive on the whole circle. I only need it on half. I did this the other day. I don't, because you get into the mindset, right? We're always putting glue all over everything. All right, so I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do, hang on 1 second. This just goes to show what happens. I'm going to get some baby powder. Now I can let that dry, but I'm going to take a little bit of baby powder, and I put this on the back, and it will take the stickiness away. So I'm going to put a little bit, and I'm going to probably use my finger because this might get all over. All right, so what I'm going to do, because I made the boo-boo, I only want the adhesive to go on this part, right? So there's my little mark. I only want it to go on this side of the paper. So all of this right here, this side right here needs to go away. So I'm just going to rub some baby powder on that, and that's going to help take that stickiness off, and then we don't have to worry. And then I'll wipe the baby powder off so it doesn't show, but when you open it. All right, so let's do that, and let me place this down again, and we'll make sure where I need to add my adhesive. Now I've got my baby powder there all the way up to here, so I'm going to place that right there, and that tells me I need to start my adhesive right here. So I'm just going to take from here. This is just a trick that I do, and I'm going to move it over to about like that. Okay, and then all of this has been unstuck because of me putting that baby powder on there. All right, so we're going to take that. I know it's kind of weird, isn't it? But I don't know if somebody told me that. I think somebody said use some baby powder, and I thought, oh, that's kind of clever. All right, so there's my mark. So I'm going to make sure I've got this thing centered, and I know I can't go past that mark, so I'm just going to put my circle right about there. All right, so that should adhere to the front, and it did. All right, and if you're not comfortable, you can always cut out another piece if you do what I did with as far as the glue, but you know, for time's sake, I don't want to have to recut one. All right, so now that, since that's there, this guy is only going to get put on half of the card, right? So I'm going to glue him halfway up, not even halfway, probably I'll do a quarter, okay? So I know that I've got to have from here, I can go down. So I'll just use my finger as a guideline, and this is where I'll put my adhesive. And then we'll put that on there, and that's going to hold to the card. And again, I kind of like placing it so that I know when it's closed it's going to fit. So I'm going to lay that right there, and then I'll pull this part up to open my card, and then we'll let this sit for just a second, and then I'll pop this out of the way. So give me just a minute and we'll get that. There we go. All right, so I've got my adhesive. It's in the back. You can't see it. So I'm just going to push this down. All right, and then that's how our gatefold latch works, just like that. Isn't that cute? And then you just close it up, and then it goes right underneath the card. Isn't that cute? All right, pretty easy, but it looks like you did a lot of work to it. All right, so we're going to take another, oops, that one's too big. Hang on. We're going to use a piece of basic white, and I'm going to make this a birthday card. So I'm going to stamp "It's Your Birthday." And I think what I'm going to do is do a little bit of a design in the bottom of the card for the inside. So I am going to stamp this other stamp that comes in the set, this a set of rocks right here, and then I'll stamp a little bit of water. So I'm going to decorate so my inside doesn't look so plain. So we're going to take that, and I'm going to use the pebbled path. So I want to stamp this. I'm going to stamp it down towards the bottom, and I'm going to leave a little bit of room so that I can put some water. I know that I can't, I want it to go right to the edge, so I'm going to stamp off just a little bit so I know I've got it right to the edge of the card. All right, so there's that. And then I will come back with my Coastal Cabana, and we're going to do some more water, and see how I did it here. So we'll do that, and I'm not going to color that. I'm just going to leave that like the rocks that are open. And let's go ahead and I'm going to stamp over this a little bit to give it some, to make it look like it's got the water. So we're going to stamp, and I think I'm going to turn it this way because I think I might have had that upside down, but I don't think anybody's going to notice that. So we're just going to have some water coming around. So this card, you won't have a lot of space to write a message, but that's okay, right? So we've got some water here. Okay, so there we go. I think that's a little too much water. What do you think? I think that's a little too much. Let's do that again. Let's try that one more time. I get carried away when I start stamping like that. I probably shouldn't do that, right? But that's okay. That's why our paper is two-sided. So I'm going to do this one more time. I'm going to stamp right there. And then this time, let me close up this one. I'm going to make sure that I stamp my water and do it so it looks nice and I don't keep stamping way too much. I'm going to put a little bit there and put some there, and then we'll come back down here and we'll stamp all the way across. All right, and then we're going to come down to the bottom and we'll stamp off because we do want to make sure we have water covering the bottom part. I think that looks good. So we're going to leave it like that. And then you can stamp whatever sentiment you want for this. I'm going to make this a birthday card. Excuse me. And then we'll take our, we might as well use our petal path, and we'll just stamp it's your birthday. And I'm using this from the Hey Chuck stamp set. So I'm just going to stamp that right up here. And then you can write your message right in the bottom. We're going to close that up. And then we're ready. We'll go ahead and attach this to the inside. So that's the nice thing about our paper being two-sided, right? So if we make boo-boos or mistakes, whatever you want to call them, we get to flip that paper over. And I think this looks much better. And once I set this down, you're not going to see that design on the back. So we're going to put that right there. All right, isn't that cute? Don't you like that? I love the inside of that card, and I love this this set. And then we're going to close this little guy up. And you can decorate if you want to add something up in here. We could put some kind of ribbon. We could put some, let's see what we've got. So that's closed. Let me see what kind of, oh, let's see. We've got some of these. These are the tinsel gems. I think these are, you know what, these might be retired too. I don't even know, but we're going to put some of these on here. Let's put a blue, because it's going to coordinate with that. And let's put a green, because we are in green. That might look funny. I don't know about that. Maybe we should put one down here. That might look funny. So let's take this guy off. And there's his glue. I think I'm going to take that off. And I'm going to put him down on this side. I'm going to put my little glue piece that just came off. And I'll put him right here. I think it would look nice. And then I'll add another blue. Just kind of pull some of that navy in. I use Night of Navy. And I'll just put those two right next to each other. So there is our card. Isn't that cute? Very easy card. Open it up, and then there's your inside. Okay, so there's the first card. Let's put this back. And then we'll move these off to the side for just a moment. Let me get my craft mat out of the way because he looks kind of funky. All right, so let's move this over there. We're going to put that card up there. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to make, let me get my stuff here. We're going to use the Hey Chuck stamp set and the coordinating dies, and these are found in the annual catalog. Aren't these are just so much fun to use. I just love these. I just love them. All right, and then what we're making here is we are going to make a 3-box. I don't even know what you call this. All right, so we're using these. Now, I went ahead and die cut and colored the things that I'm using here because I just, again, it would take too long for me to do that. But this is what we're going to make, and you've probably seen these. This is the three squares, and it's a card. And then I'm going to turn it this way so you can see it. I've colored the roosters and put those in there, and did this as a birthday card as well. And then when you fold this up, it will fit in the envelope. Now the only thing, I've got my weather vane up here. You may need to have that fold down. If you do, you probably need to put something there to give it some a little bit of stability. Or if you don't want it that high, you can put it even with the card. It's up to you. Or you can put something else up here. But this little guy, if he folds over, we need to put something to hold it so he doesn't tear, okay? But I thought that was cute, and it's really, once you get the hang of how to score and fold everything, it's not that bad. So that's what we're going to make. So I'm going to put this right here. You won't really be able to see him. I'll lay him down like that. How's that? I don't think, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to use Daffodil Delight for the box itself. And then I'm using, and I'll give you all the dimensions in just a minute, I'm using the blueberry bushel from the gingham set of papers, okay? So these are what we need to make this card. All right, and I'm going to give you the dimensions, and again, I have everything already pre-cut. Okay, so we need the first piece of cardstock. Again, this is Daffodil Delight. We need this to be at 8.5 this way, and it is by 3.5. So 8.5 by 3.5. I'm going to move him out of the way for just a minute. And we're going to turn this, and then we need to score this. Okay? So we're going to score this at 1 1 3/4. So let's pull that down. So there's 1/2, 1 3/4 is right there. So I'm going to hold that down and we're going to score it 1 3/4. Then we're going to move it down to 3 1/2, 3 1/2. Then we're going to do 5 1/4. That's 5 1/4 right there. And then I need to open up my arm because we need a 7-inch score. So we're going to come in at 7 and score that. Okay. And then this piece, you've got 2 of these. And this is 8 1/2 by 1 3/4. That's 1 3/4. Okay, by 8 1/2. And that should be 8 1/2, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. All right, so these two will be scored the same. So what I do to make it easier, I just put them both on the board. So they're going to be scored the same as this larger card here. So we're going to start out at 1 3/4. So I'm going to get that one there, and I'm going to lay this one right next to it and hold that down, and we're going to score 1 3/4. And then we're going to move this down to 3 1/2. So we'll get that one there, and that one goes right there. This just saves time, so you don't have to do them. Yeah, you can do them separately if you want, but I just like to do it at once. Since I'm scoring, I might as well just score once. All right, so this is 3 1/2, so we're going to score that. Then we're going to move it down to 5 1/4. So we get down to the 5 1/4. Put this guy, just butt it up with this one right there, and 5 1/4. And then we're also going to move these down to 7. So we'll get that one down to 7, get this one down to 7, score that, okay? All right, so that's all we need right now for the scoring. And then, well, I lied. Then we're going to need 4 of these little strips right here. These are going to be your pop-up mechanisms. 2 to 4, it depends on how many pieces you're going to put on your box. So I cut 4. Some I did cut down because they were a little bit too big. These are going to be 2 inches by 1/2 inch. And we're going to score this at 1 inch. So I'm just going to move it down to the 1 inch mark right there. And actually we can probably do all 4. So we'll go ahead and line these up at the 1 inch. Well, let's just do 2 at a time because it might be a little difficult. All right, so we'll score those. And again, these you can just really fold if you want. It's folding it in half is what you're doing. But I like, on these, I do like to have that score line because it makes it a lot easier to fold it when it's such a small piece. All right, and then we'll do that there. Okay, so I did 4. We may not use all 4. And I know some I will cut down a little bit shorter. I'll just cut one length off, depending on where you want to put them on your boxes, okay? All right, so that's those pieces. And then we're going to cut 1, 2, 3. We're going to cut 6 squares from the gingham or whatever designer paper you want to use. And these are going to be 1 1/2 square. So it's 1 1/2 by 1 1/2. And this is the blueberry bushel. I think we'll put this one. I just thought that one, the smaller checks, looks more like a farm. So I'm going to use this side. So these are 6 of these at 1 1/2 by 1 1/2. All right. So let's move this out of the way. Now the first thing that we want to do, we're going to move these out of the way because we don't need these yet. All right, so we're going to take and we're going to fold this one right here. Now the one thing you have to remember, and you might want to have a ruler, this is the one that is 1 3/4, okay? But by the time we got down to this end, so this is the left side, this one is 1 1/2. So just keep that in mind. You want the 1 3/4 on your left side when you start folding. And when we fold, we're going to see a little bit I'll show you in just a minute, okay? So we're going to start folding from the left side. So I'm going to fold in. We're going to fold all of them. And then I'll show you how we're going to adhere them together. And I'm just going to turn it this way just so I can get this one folded. It's easier when you've got 4 or 5 different sizes that you're working with. Okay, so this is the 1/2 inch side, right? This is the 1 3/4. So the 1 1/2, 1 3/4 is right here. So 1 3/4 you want on the left side. And then we're going to bring the right side around. And it should form a square. And when you put it up to the left side up to the score line, you're going to have about, what, 1/8 of an inch, not even a quarter, about 1/8 of a space right there, which is fine, okay? See that? All right, so that's how that one's going to work. So we're going to put some adhesive, and I'm going to put it on this end because I find that it's going to be easier, and we're going to use tear and tape. And it's easier for me to put it on the shorter end because that's going to be on top. So just remember, the right side, the 1.5 inch side, is going to be on the top of your 1 1/4 box, 1 1/4 side. So I'm just going to cut that there, and then we'll go ahead and peel this off. Okay, and then this is my left, this is the right, this one needs to be on top. So I'm going to put my thumb in here because I don't want it to adhere just yet. So I've got that into the corner, and I've got it where it looks like it's right. Okay, and we're going to put that right in there. Probably should put some, you could put some adhesive on this side too just to hold that in there, and I didn't do that. But you can do that, probably would make more sense. All right, so there's the first piece that we need. It's all nice, it looks like it's all nice and squared up. All right, now these we're going to go ahead and fold. Let me flip my page on my note. Let's see, and these are going to be our pieces. These are going to be these 2 boxes right here, okay? And then I'll go over that with you in just a minute. So we're going to just go ahead and make our folds here, burnish these edges really good. And you want to make sure that our edges are nice and even. Okay, so again, these are going to go right up to each other. There's not going to be much of, well, there is going to be a little bit of a space. So the same thing, let me look at the sizing here. This is 1 3/4, and this is 1 1/2. So the 1 1/2 needs to be on this side. Let's go ahead and do this one, and then we'll add our adhesive, and then we'll put these boxes together. Okay, so everything, you want the left side, which is the 1 3/4, to be on the left, and then the smaller, the 1 1/2, will be on your right hand side. Okay, all right, so we know this is our 1 3/4, so this stays on the left. This is the 1 1/2, and this is the same. So we're going to fold them just like we did the other one, but we're going to make the square. And again, those are going to line up, and you're going to have this small little gap, you know, right there. Okay. So again, I'm going to put, now this time, I'll add some tear and tape. I'm going to put it on the little, both the top and the bottom part of that 1 1/2 inch side. All right, so we'll put one here, and then I'll just trim that off in just a second, and I'll put one right about down here so that way it holds it as well. All right, so we'll just, whoopsie, we'll trim this piece off, and we'll trim this piece off. That way we've got, whoops, throwing stuff around, aren't I? Okay, I need to put my trash can back up here. I keep forgetting to do that when I taught my class the other day. All right, let me go ahead and put the adhesive on this one as well. And I always want to measure to make sure I've got it right, and I do. All right, so let's go ahead and add another strip of tear and tape, and we'll do another strip of tear and tape, and I'm just kind of eyeballing it, and then we'll adjust it as we need to. All right, so this is the 1 1/2 inch. So we're going to put this right at the top because we want to make sure it holds it together, and then we'll put this down towards the bottom. All right, so we got those. So we'll go ahead and take the toppings off. All right, I know it looks a little harder than it is, but once you make sure you've got the right sides on the right sides, it works much better. So you're just going to fold it in like we did before, right? And then this one, we're going to just push up to that fold line to make our square. And then once you've got it where it's squared, then just push down on your glue and hold that together, right? And then we'll do the same thing with this one. So I struggled at first because I don't read, I don't know. My mind was thinking one thing and the thing was telling me something else. And I got them all, they were kind of all mumble jumbled up. They weren't laying exactly squared. I had one square that wasn't exactly squared. So I had to redo that piece. But it's okay. You know, sometimes you got to do it twice to get it right. But that's all right. Okay, so we're going to do that again. We're just going to turn it in, get it to square. You know, you want to make sure it's all, both, really what you're trying to make sure is that all four sides are even and nothing is bowing out. So that looks good. So I'm going to hold it and push down on that one. All right, so now we have our squares. All right, now this one, I've pushed in a little bit too far. Hang on, let me see if I can open this one up without messing things up because I got the tearing tape on there. Hang on a minute, because I can see, actually, I think what I'm going to do, I can see right here it's affecting the way it's bending. So I don't do what I just did. I'm going to see if I can fix this. If not, I'm going to fold that down, and then I think I'll try to cut it. Okay, so right now I'm just going to fold it, and I think that should be fine. That way at least it gets us our, let me cut in here. I'm just going to cut just a snip so it gets, I put it a little bit further across the, where the corner is for as far as scoring. So I'm just going to trim just a little bit off. There we go. No one's going to see this anyways, so that's okay. All right, now I got it. So there we go. There is our 3 pieces that we need to build our box card. All right, now what we want to do is we want to take this one. This is going to be the center, you know, the center piece that's going to hold these two together. You want to have your seam right here towards the back, all right? And this is going to be up like that, so you can see down like a tunnel. These two need to go on their sides. So these two are going to get attached to this guy. Now it depends on where you want the back. Let me see, now you can flip it over, and I want my seam, all right, so my seam is right there. So I can put this, and I'm going to put the seam against here, right? So I'm going to do that, and then this one, I'm going to put the seam against. I'm going to turn it over, or you can, either way, it doesn't matter. And then this will go here, and then we've got them even, okay? So you're going to attach this to that piece, and the seam is in the back, so we're not going to see that. So what we'll do is we're going to take our tearing tape again, and the part that we're going to attach, I'm going to lay it right here, and I'm going to attach some adhesive, or your double, you know, your tearing tape. See, I don't do good tearing. I don't know what it is. I just have a hard time tearing this stuff. I know you think, I'm like all thumbs. That's why it's easier for me just to cut the daggone stuff, you know. I'm going to put probably 3 pieces. And the reason I'm saying that is because this piece is going to get, well, that's not even big enough. This piece is going to get moved when you know, fold it and flatten it and all that. I think I'm going to make another piece. Hang on, let me cut another piece to make it big enough to go across. And that should work right about there. Okay, so we're going to put that right on here from one side to the other. All right, and then I'll trim off this little excess right here because we don't want, in this one, we don't want that blocking anything. All right, and then we'll do the same thing as soon as I get the glue off of my scissors. We'll do the same thing to the other one. All right, so now this one we're going to find our piece, and we're going to set that right like that. So I'm going to put my adhesive on here. So get that cut right about here. Ouch, if I don't cut myself. All right, so we'll put that here, and I'll trim off, because I'd rather make sure I have enough going off both sides, right? And then we'll cut a couple more pieces. I think that might work. All right. And you can put, I mean, I'm just putting 3 strips. I think 3 will be fine. If you want to put them close together and do 4, you can do that as well. And then this one we'll put, and we'll put this one right about here. And again, we'll trim this off. All right, so now I'm just going to push these down real good to make sure I've got my tape adhered really well. my corner's in the back, or my seam is in the back of my card. So I am going to go ahead and peel off the adhesive. I need to get my pick your tool out. It's sitting over on the other desk. I think I told you all that last week too. I need to get two of them. Keep one over here on this desk. There we go. All right, so that one, so we've got it squared. So I'm just going to lay it down and bring it up to this card. So this one, you want the top opening at the top. These you want like a chair, because it's where we're going to have those animals. So I'm just going to make sure I've got them lined up and even, and then it looks like they are. So I'm just going to push that in, and then I'll push my fingers in and hold it and make sure we get it adhered really good. All right, so there's one. And then we'll do the same thing with these. We'll go ahead and take these off and get the tape off of this. Hang on a minute. All right, there we go. And we'll do this one. All right, and we'll do this one. Okay, there we go. All right, and then the same thing. We're going to make sure that it's squared, and then we're going to line it up. I'm just setting it right in front of it, knowing that I can push straight back and it will be on there nice and tight. Okay, so I'm just going to push this down on the inside. All right, make sure we got them stuck on there pretty good. All right, so that's how we make our, that's going to be our card. And then when we get done, when you get ready to mail it, it's going to mail like this. Okay, so that's pretty good. So now we're going to go ahead and do some decorating. And if it doesn't lay flat, you just got to pull these up a little bit, you know, get the bottom parts. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add our designer paper, and we'll use our multi-purpose glue. So we're going to put the adhesive on here, the front, that's 2, this will be 4, and then that will be 6. So the top sides, the front, the top sides of the tall one, the top of the boxes, and then the front of the boxes, okay? So we'll go ahead and we're going to lay this down. It'll be easier to get them adhered. And again, I'm just going to put the smaller gingham checks. I just like it. Kind of reminds me of a picnic, I guess. Like a picnic table, doesn't it? Or a picnic tablecloth. So I'm just going to lay that right on here and just go ahead and start attaching these little squares. All right. And we'll do our adhesive. And again, you can use your multi-purpose glue, or you can use your seal or whatever glue that you have. And we'll pop that one right on there. Make sure we've got them. Okay. And these are all the same size. Okay. All right, so then this one will go here. So we want to have that decorated. They're going to have a party. All right. And then once I get them on here, I'll push them down a little bit more. Oops, I almost put that on the wrong side, huh? All right, so we're going to do that and get that over there. All right, so what do you think about this card so far? All right, so we're going to put him on here. All righty. All right, this one, we're going to glue this one down. You're not going to be able to see that because we're going to glue it. And no one's going to see that that thing is lifted up. Put a little bit of glue right there. All right, so this is going to go on the front of the box. So we're going to lay that right here and get that off of my finger. Set that down. Put that piece right there. And you won't even know that it had a little bit of an issue. I'm just going to move this up just a little bit. That's right. There we go. Sitting a little... It was looking like it was a little crooked, but it'd be fine because no one's going to see that. Anyways, they're just going to be amazed when they get this card. They're going to think, oh my gosh, what did they make for me? All right, so we're going to put that on there. Give that a minute. Okay, and then I will just go back and push over all of these. All right, and get this one more. Push on this one. All right, and then there is the start of our box that we're going to decorate. Isn't that cute? Okay, so there's that. Now we have all our critters. Now I took and cut a fence, and then I ran the fence through the 3D timber embossing folder to make it look like it's a wood fence. And I also cut out the weather vane. I thought that was kind of cute. And this is the one that's a little bit high. So if you don't want it that high, we can just move it down. It's up to you if you want it down like that. I'm going to put mine up a little bit higher, and I'll probably add a little piece of same size piece of cardstock on the back just to hold it. Or we could put it here. Either way, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to put this on there, and I am just going to put some adhesive on the bottom part right here. All right. Now you can you don't have to put this here. You could put a sign. You could attach a sign that says happy birthday that goes right along this side right here. So you could put this to hold it, but your happy birthday would be like a fence, like the fence, but it would stand and fold down, and then you just say it would say happy birthday. So there's different ways, whatever your imagination, wherever it takes you. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit lower since we had a little bit of a problem with that on the other card. So I'm just going to put that right there. I've got my vane. So when we fold this down, it'll be flat. And I can push that down, make sure it adheres. Okay? All right, and then we're going to decorate. So I've got my fence, and I know I'm going to put this one over here. Well, I don't have to. All right, so I went ahead and cut out and colored and cut out these little critters, and they also have a cake. Now, what you could do, and since I was using this set, I couldn't put anything down here. But if you have a small stamp like this, if you have a different type of animal, his tail is keeping him from going in this box. My idea was to have him inside there like he was trying to eat the cake. But I realized he won't fit because his tail feathers are up. And then this one wouldn't fit because he's too big. But if you have like the Hey Chick stamp set, you've got that one that's bent over and her tail feathers are not sticking up. That one would work, or you could just put something else down here if you want to put something inside the box. I think it would be cute to have something right here that's kind of angled so that people can see that. Okay. Now I've just got to figure out where I'm gonna put everybody. Yeah, let's go ahead. I'll just do him on the opposite side. No big deal. So I'm gonna put some adhesive on here. If I can get it to come out. Come on. There we go. I guess because I let it sit for a little bit, the glue is drying. All right, so we'll add some adhesive to this. And I'm not going to put any on his outside wing because that's going to overhang a little bit, which will be fine. So I'm just going to put him right here, or her, him, whichever you want it to be. All right, so we're going to let that sit for just a second and make sure that that's not going to get in the way of closing, and it should not. All right. So I'll put that one there. All right, so now we're going to take these little things here. We're going to make these their pop-ups. So I want to determine, let's do this guy here, okay? So I want to figure out, I'm going to glue this to the back of him, and I think I might cut it down some. I don't think we need that much, which it might be fine because it's going to give him more stability. So if I want him here, I want him angled just a little bit because I'm going to put the cake there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just trim this at an angle like that. All right, so I want that to butt up like this, and then I'll get him on here. Okay, so I'm going to put this, and we'll put some adhesive on here to attach him. So we're going to put him right here. And I know I can't go below that because that's where the box is going to be. So we're going to put that right there. And I have a little bit of glue sticking out, but we'll just tap it off. And then we'll fold this up, and we'll just add a little bit of adhesive here. And this is going to get popped down on the box. And I want him kind of angled, so I angled that to stick him. So I'm going to put him just like that. Now when this folds down, he's going to fold down with it, but I'm going to wait till it dries and then I'll show you, okay? And then we're going to do the same thing with the cake because we want it to look like he's trying to eat this cake, right? So we will take, now this one is so small, so I don't need all of that right there. So I'm going to cut this down. That's going to be my piece that's going to glue to the thing. But again, I don't need my cake showing all of this. I don't need all that, right? Actually, we can do it like this. Let's attach the cake to that piece. Let's do that. So we'll put some adhesive on here and attach the cake. And we'll let that sit for a minute so it can dry. We'll pull it up just a minute. There we go. So we don't see the top of the mechanism. All right. And then this one, now I am going to trim that down a little bit. I'm going to put this underneath him. So I'm going to trim this because I want this shorter because I don't want that in the way. So I'm going to put that right there so that way it kind of looks like he's trying to eat this cake. All right, so I'm going to put some adhesive right on the back of that as soon as I get that one off. All right, so we'll just put some adhesive right here. And then I'm going to pop that, whoopsie, no, I'm not going to pop it over there, but we're going to pop that right down where it looks like he's trying to eat that. I'm going to put that right under his foot just a little bit. And then I'm going to hold that down so it can dry. So there's that one, see? All right. And then this one, I guess we're going to put him over here. So he needs a mechanism. And we'll put him like he's looking over the fence. So we'll attach him. And I'll probably trim this one down just a little. So it's not covering all of him. But, you know, he's going to have you're going to see his mechanism, but that's okay. All right. And then what I'll do is I will put that on his legs. Hang on a second. Yeah, because we want him on the shorter part. So I'm going to put the glue on his legs and a little bit at the bottom of the cake. Because we want to make sure he's attached. All right. And then we'll attach him right about there. That works out. Okay. So I've got him his feet right below the edge. And then I'll fold this back. And then that's where we'll go ahead and attach. And, you know, you could dress this up. You could, you know, if you got grass or something, you could make it look like he's got grass. And so we're going to put him like he's just kind of hanging out. We're going to turn him at an angle as well. All right, so we'll let him dry. And then, I guess I'll put the fence over here. So we're going to put the fence right here. We'll put it on this side since we missed it. Okay, so I'm just going to put right on the legs of the fence. So right on just these little looks like legs. I'm just going to put it right there. So I'm going to have it right hanging off so that barely, this goes right on the edge. Those little feet do. And then when it folds down, it will fold flat. Okay. So we're going to put that right there. All right. So that's it so far. So the next thing I want to do is stamp a sentiment. All right. We're going to do, let's see, you got something to crow about. Let's do that one. And of course, we're going to do happy birthday. You got something to crow about. And rise and shine. Oh, it's your birthday. Is that the one I used? Hold on. Let me see. The whale watching. All right. So I'm going to stamp this. I'm going to use this in blueberry bushel since we use that in our gingham paper. We haven't used much of that blue. So let's go ahead and pull that in. And we'll use that. And then I'm just going to fussy cut out the birthday and the other sentiment. And we'll see if we've got room to put those on here. So let's go ahead. I know I've got room for the birthday. It's not going to take much for this. And I can fussy cut that. I'll just do it right here because I can fussy cut that out. Okay. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and snip these. And then I'll cut this out in just a second. All right. And then the other one, let me see where we could put that right there. You've got something to crow about, so let's do that. And let me change out my sentiment here. And this is a fun set. I love this stamp set. All right, and then we're going to stamp this one. And I'm gonna stamp this one right here because I know I've got room. There we go. And I'm gonna fussy cut both of these to make them fit. All right, and then we're almost done. So give me a second. Move all this stuff. See, I had an extra one of those pieces that we didn't need, so that's fine. All right, let me cut all these little pieces off. Get to what I need here. Get this out of the way. All right, so this is the Hey Chuck stamp set. So we're gonna go ahead and just trim this. And this one, I'm pretty much just gonna cut it straight. I'm probably not gonna do too much fussy cutting because the top, we might be able to do a little bit, but we'll see. And I'm just gonna cut it really tight to the lettering. And then this one, we probably could go a little bit. I'll go in and then just come up a little and then kind of roll around. And then just make it, when we get to the T of the got, and we'll roll it around that one. Okay, and we should be good with that. Okay, so that's that one. And then the next one, we're gonna do It's Your Birthday. So we'll come in with this. We're gonna come close to cutting that one. That's a little close, all right. That's all right. And then we're gonna come up here, and then this one we are going to do a turn and cut, and then we'll do a turn up here. And then we'll turn it and just kind of go around. And we'll cut that off so I can get to this side. And then we'll come in, and we'll come up back around the B and go around. Okay, so there we go. There's our two pieces. So let's do, wow, that one looks, this one looks so much bigger on the other, maybe because it's on the bird's belly. All right, I'm gonna put this on that bird's belly because I think, let me get my tweezers, the other one is gonna be a little much. So I'm just gonna add this right here, like, I'm gonna hopefully make it look like he's holding a sign that says it's your birthday. So let's get it straight. All right. So we're going to push that down. All right. So if you're looking to make quick cards, this is probably not going to be a quick card, but it will be a neat card and a fun card that somebody's going to get and look at this and go, oh my gosh, how did she do that? You know? And then we'll take this one. You got something to crow about. And we'll put this on this side right here. And it just fits right below the fence. And we'll put that there. All right, so there is our box card, if you will. And then when let me make sure these are flattened down so that they're dry. And then we're going to close it. And then, whoops, there goes my microphone. I have it taped to my shirt just because I've lost the little clippy-do thing and I haven't been able to find it. So anyways, it's probably going to fall off again. So when you get ready to mail it, you're going to fold this down, and then these guys will fold down just like that. See? You put them in the envelope, and then they pop right back up like they're supposed to. And then this just, you know, whoever gets it's going to know they got to try to square it up. So there's that card. I'll turn it like this so you can see it. So there's that one. And then here is our gate latch that we will pull in and pull this right under. And then that will hold that in place. All right, so those are our two cards. I hope you've enjoyed this. Something different. All right, everybody. Thanks again for joining me this Tuesday evening. I greatly appreciate it. Have a great rest of your night and a good week. And I'll see you back in a couple of weeks. Well, when you get this, it'll only be a couple of weeks, yes. All right, thanks again, everyone. Bye now.